here are the other individuals in this particular series.
Yes, whatever the heck.
Work our way down to another edition.
AJ Styles, which I really enjoy.
The Young Bucks and the Bomb Squad 4 live.
Alright, we're in the top row of the second colorful case.
Hulk Hogan wants to put his 24-inch pythons around my neck and gave his famous "What you gonna do?" But by the power of the genius and the world's smartest man, I'll rely on my incredible IQ. And for all my competition and every wrestling fan, behold the genius Lanny Poffo, the world's smartest man. What is up, the Bomb Squad? And if you didn't already know, this is Don the Bomb, and I am back for another epic, monumental, life-changing for me, really it is, wrestling figure unboxing and review. So today I received a long-awaited package from my friends over at Collect Major, and that is the Big Rubber Guys next series with the Birdman, Koko, Beware, and my favorite wrestler of all time, the genius Lanny Poffo, also known as Leaping Lanny for many years before that. Unfortunately, this is February 2nd, and it marks the exact 2-year anniversary of Lanny's passing back in 2023. So it's kind of fitting that I was to get my long-awaited representation of him in the LJN Big Rubber Guy line, the genius, full of glory and renown, and his one-time adversary, Koko Beware, with Frankie. But, you know, the genius, Lanny Poffo, you know, his brother, as a lot of people may know, was the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah, dig it! You know, and Macho Man has had figure after figure after figure, deservedly so. Lanny, before this came out, only had one figure, and that's the Jakks Classic Superstars genius Lanny Poffo. So I am happy to add the genius to my collection. And I already have an original LJN of Koko Beware, but as we know with the Collect Major Big Rubber Guy series, they have a tendency to make not only new additions to that line, but they make better representations that are more aesthetically pleasing than the original LJNs, and this is definitely no different. So I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, sell the original LJN Koko Beware. I don't know. We'll see all about what happens. But anyway, this is a great day. A great day. I've been waiting months for these. Well, you know, especially, you know, Lanny here, but Koko was all right too. Oh yeah, pile driver. Anyway, I will digress. But all right, well, let's start off with the Birdman, Koko Beware. And if you guys go out and watch on YouTube, back in 1989, well, actually, I won't go too far into this. I'll go into it when I do the individual. But back in 1989, there are a couple matches where my boy, the genius, defeated the Birdman, Koko Beware. Sorry, Koko. Anyway, let's get on with Koko Beware. There he is right there in the plastic prison, as my friend Kyle Peterson from YouTube says. He has a lot of quality action figure reviews, mostly wrestling. There is a cross-sell of all the more recent wrestlers in the Big Rubber Guys line. And there is a more in-depth checklist. And there is the barcode, another jibber jabber. Collect Major, Big Rubber Guys. Not a toy. Ages 18 and up. Dude, I'm playing with these. I don't care. Hopefully they don't break apart. Anyway, as I've discussed before, I like the way that these cases can be, you know, you can still keep them in on card, and you can take the card backing off, and then you could display it loose, or you can put it back in the box if you would like, and, you know, display it that way. I am a 99% loose collector, so these boxes will probably be thrown away, but they are nice for those that want to keep them and put them back in the box. So the accessory, we have Frankie. What a great parrot. He was a very nice sidekick for Koko to have. Let's see if he fits nicely on his shoulder. Well. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. That's Frankie. We all know Frankie. And here he is, the Birdman, Koko Beware. This is probably my favorite time of Koko, too. And once again, it's around the time where he was losing to the Genius on the regular basis for a couple of months while they were trying to give Lanny the push with Mr. Perfect. But there's Koko, looks a lot like him, complete with the goggled sunglasses, blonde hair, the awesome neon green, the baby blue attire with the gray and the looks like yellow boots. And there's Frankie on the side there, on both sides. Should have maybe said Koko or well, you really can't put WWF on the back. Okay, maybe that's why they didn't do it. But he was short but stocky. He was very electrifying, did a lot of high-flying maneuvers. It's Koko. Koko Beware, the Birdman, if you will. Oh, yeah. Poor Koko, he had a good start for the first year or two in the WWF, and then, he slipped down the card. He would beat the jobbers on a regular basis, but he would basically lose to everybody else, a heel that was a higher stature. But unfortunately, so did Lanny when he was leaping Lanny. And then later on, after his push was over. All right, so there's Koko Beware. And now, my favorite wrestler, full of glory and renown, the Genius, if you will. There he is right there in all of his wisdom, splendor, the Genius. Same thing going on in the back here. Can't go wrong with that. Let's get him out of here. Yep, 2-year anniversary to the day that Lanny died in New York City while he was scheduled to do some signings. He had moved to Ecuador, strangely enough, a couple of years ago. He was having a good time there. I was a Facebook friend of his. He had a lot of cool pictures from Ecuador. He was a guy that was very frugal in spending his money, but he did save a lot, and he was, financially well off. All right, now he has, what is this? It looks like paper. What is this, a paper for a poem? Oh, you could actually write a poem on here. I'm going to have at it. And here is the scroll. He's used that once or twice as a weapon. That's actually my favorite wrestling match of all time, and this is no exaggeration, and anybody that knows me will probably know what this is. It was the Genius's only World Heavyweight title match on Saturday night's main event in 1989 against Hulk Hogan in his prime, and the Genius, with the help of the scroll and Mr. Perfect, won the match via countout. And then in the back room area, Mr. Perfect destroyed the Winged Eagle Hulk Hogan Championship belt. Hate to see it, but it happens sometimes. You have to make a point. That's using your noggin. Anyway, this says the Genius is truly the best. I couldn't put it any better than that. He did have a very successful run as the Genius. In 1989, if you look it up, the Genius, believe it or not, after, like I said earlier, winning usually about 20% of his matches as Leaping Lanny Poffo, in 1989, he had like an 86 or 87 win percentage in 1989. I think I said 1989 a lot of times. And you could look that up. And there he is right there, the Genius. And as you could tell, I'm very ecstatic to have in my collection. Now, the only one negative, I wish his cap and gown were removable. But I know it, the price point would be affected. Hopefully, Big Rubber Guys comes out with a wrestling attire version of Lanny, but probably highly unlikely. I don't know if the want and the desire will be there. I would like to have it, but yeah, there he is with his cap, gown, mortarboard, the scroll, which fits nicely in his hand. See, if Koko was not paying attention. Oh, you know it, baby. The victory for the Genius. Anyway, that is pretty awesome, I have to say. And I will bring out the only other Genius figure, and that is from Jax, from the Classic Superstars line. Obviously, this is my favorite wrestling figure in my collection. It has been for years, and it probably will be, unless Mattel comes out with one, which I don't know if they will or not. But there he is, the Genius. Koko Beware, glory and renowned. Oh yeah, you know it. The master of poetry on the 2-year anniversary of his passing, and his adversary Koko Beware once again. Oh, you hate to see it. But if I were to rate these figures, I would give Koko Beware a solid 9 out of 10. And the Genius, I will give him, oh man, you know I have to go there, a 10 out of 10. So eat your heart out, Ty Dillinger. 10, 10, 10. It would probably be 10.5 if he actually had his wrestling attire with the removable cap and gown. But anyway, I will digress. So, the Bomb Squad, and if you're not already a member of the Bomb Squad, what are you waiting for? What are you doing? Subscribe, or I'm going to use my brains to take you out. No, I won't. I can't do that. But for Koko Beware, the Genius full of glory and renown, the world's smartest man, this is the second world's smartest man, Don the Bomb. Until the next one, have a good night, everybody. Oh, yeah.